Hello everyone, and welcome back. You notice that I'm not standing in front of my long builds as I normally do, like that one all the way over there. That's because I'm trying something new. This time, we're gonna look at some desert builds. Yes, you heard that right. I'm gonna go over every biome that is in this game, and I'll try to make some starter builds that are viable for that biome. I'll try to go over all kind of different builds from easy ones to more complex ones, so there's always one build there for you. Without further ado, let's go to the first one. This one is probably the easiest one of the bunch. It's a very easy shape. It's like basically just an L shape, there with cubes in different levels, so it's not all boring and bland. It's extra feel to this build. It elevates your build, if you know what I'm saying. And the build itself is very charismatic. It's very cutesy. It's very charming indeed. So looking at the build, at the bottom it has a spruce foundation. You can either use the stripped spruce wood or use trapdoors. That's all up to you. And then the build itself is completely made out of sand. Most likely smooth sandstone and normal sandstone, but also a little bit of sand here and there to give extra texture to the build. You'll notice that the windows that are there are not that big at all. These are just stairs that are upside down and normal down. And like that, they open a window on the side of your build. And down here you also have a small little escape thing, maybe for your pet rat or something, I don't know. Each window is just a fence, and behind that fence there's a copper trapdoor to make it look a little bit more, well, closed off, I would say. As for most houses in the desert, they have very small windows so they are secured from incoming sandstorms. You notice that there are also some signs here and there. Those are mostly for decorational purpose. Here you use the mango sign to give extra color to the build, but that's really optional. You can do whatever you want with it. I think even the warp fences might look pretty cool, but I'm not quite sure that you're gonna have warped wood from the get-go if you start a new world. On the inside, well, it's not the most spacious thing in the world, but it definitely could serve as a starter build. There's plenty of room for all your chests and your furnaces and your bed. There's even upstairs where you could put your bed if you don't have enough space on downstairs, and you could even look at the beautiful view around you. Yeah, looking at this bad boy at night, you'll notice that there's not too much light going out, and that's because of the small windows, but that adds to the charm of the build in my opinion. Then the next one, a little bit more complex, but I'm not talking about the shape of the build. The shape of the build is pretty easy, just one big cube. It's a 10 by 10, I think. Yeah, it's a 10 by 10 cube. Then there's a small little cube on top of that. So that's it. It's not that complex to build, but it's this amount of blocks that I use that are more complicated. I use tough blocks for the accents, but also a small little bit for the foundation. As the limestone fell off the wall, it revealed the true block behind the coloring of the whiteness here, and that is the tuff. So this build has been there for quite some time, and that's why it looks so bewildered and so old and so chaotic. It's because it's falling apart very slowly but surely. Adding some glow lichen really adds to that effect, as it looks like part of the wall is almost falling off, but it's just about hanging on, which gives only like part of the behind to the limestone free right there. That's a cute little detail to the entire build. You can use some wood to give your roofing some foundation, and using the fences to hold all the roofing together. From the inside you'll notice that there's, well, again, not too much room, but there's plenty of room for an enchantment table, some storage spaces, some furnishing, a crafting table, even a bed. What's a bed these days, right? And if you want to have even more space, you could easily add a cellar. If you like smash some blocks out here and add a staircase, you can have a small cellar. You'll notice that there's no connection to the top part here, and that because it's, I think in my opinion, a little bit too small to like add it to the build. It will more likely be in the way of everything since it's in the middle that's the opening is and not on the side. But that's why I kept it as more of a decorational thing than actually a functional part of the build. Looking at this bad boy at night, you'll notice that again there's not too much light going in. And surely not in the back of the build. There's almost no light there because there's no window, obviously. Yeah, not too much light going on, but still light enough to notice it from afar. Then next up we got it's a little bit more complex. I would say this is a little bit more complex than that, even though the blocks that I'm using is a lot more simpler than the last one. The blocks I'm using here is stripped birch and stripped oak wood for the foundation, and then I gradually change into sandstone and, well, mostly smooth sandstone. I don't think I switched it up with, I did. There's some couple of normal sandstone here. Yeah, it's just like a gradual change in different blocks from everywhere basically. And for the front window, there's also something I really like is that I used the fence gates right in front of the exposed copper grate, which make it look like one of those very small windows that you sometimes have in those desert houses. The only negative thing about the exposed copper grate is that if you use it in front like this as a window, then your build becomes very flat very quickly. So using the fence gates is a nice little thing. You can also use fences, but the negative part about that is that you do miss out on one block on the back here. And for a big build like this, well, a relatively big build like this, it's not a problem since you have space enough. But I can imagine if you're making a small block hut or something like a very tiny build, then this is something you have to take into account, that this does limit your home space, I would say. So while we're inside, I'll just tell you this is only one of the entrances. There are actually 3 different entrances you can enter this building from, with the front gate being the most obvious one. And in here you'll notice that there's again plenty of room. There's even more room than the last one for all of your storage, your furnaces, crafting table, enchantment table, and so on and so on. And you can even go up here and then you have your small little bedroom here, which has enough for 2 beds. Can you believe it? I don't. This is another way outside and inside your house, and that's the side on the stairs here. There's a very small path you can take, and then you can go back inside the building. Over here there's a small balcony where you can look at absolutely nothing because the trapdoors are in the way, but you can crouch down and kinda look through it. Yeah, that will do. You could, however, maybe add like another layer. It's like another layer of slabs. Just make sure you can actually leave your door if you do this, and then you can actually see stuff. So that's an option you can do. The third way out of this house is through this door. There are actually 3 doors here, so there's plenty of room to escape your building. The third door here goes to your balcony, which is again very spacious and very beautiful indeed. You even have some roofing here that protects you from the heat of the sun. And there's a third way that you can leave your building, and that's through the ladder that we have here. But there's also another way inside of your building, you don't believe it. It's right over here, a ladder that goes down. Look at that. But yeah, it's a very practical house. It's a very fun little house. If this is your starter house, I'm pretty sure your friends are going to be very jealous of you. Have fun with this little guy. Looking at this thing at night, you'll notice that again there's not too much light, but there's enough light to make it very cozy and to make it visible from afar. And then we got the last build, which is the most complex building of them all. Even though it's not that complex, it's just much bigger and there's a lot more things going on than all the other ones. There's a broken down archway here they can walk through. There is an overhang which has like plenty of walls and fences going through it. Support beam that's holds it all together. There's even colors in this build, and there's a tower in the middle here that gives you some kind of maybe Assassin's Creed vibes. For foundational blocks, I mostly use bricks, so you notice some bricks here and there, but it's mostly sandstone and smooth sandstone and some couple of sand and chiseled sandstone to combine it all together. I definitely use some stairs as well to give some extra depth to the build, and for some windows as I did with that build over there as well, I think. Even though there's not too much windows going on, you could definitely add an overhang or a small shop here connected to your build. And the same thing on this side, you can definitely build more things right next to it. But this is a very good starting point of a starter house. If this is your starter house, you have a lot of time on your hands and a lot of blocks to like start off. But it definitely counts as a starter house, as it's still not that big, even though it looks bigger than it actually is. Remember, it is all in one chunk, so it's not really that big. Anyway, in here we have again plenty of room for all storage and furniture. In the enchantment room, there's even a spot for your art pieces. And if you say, well, I don't know about storage space, I don't see too much storage space. Well, don't worry about that, I got you, fam. Because down here there's a cellar with even more storage space. And I even missed out on some more. Look at that, now there's even more storage, can you believe it? And behind here there's like an infinite fuel source with all the dripstone and the lava. You can just take a bucket, get some fuel, go up here and cook some stuff in your furnace. And the good thing about this is very renewable. So you will probably never run out of fuel. Once up here we can actually take the stairs, and then there's a very big bedroom here which you can also expand on. I decided to not do that as I like to have different kind of floors. If you don't like how floaty this thing is, you can definitely add some walls like this, and then it looks like it's all connected and actually holding up a little bit. You can even expand it all the way down there if that's your thing, but yeah, looks nice. Then we go into the tower, which has just an entire decorational purpose, not really too much functionality going on except for it leading you up here on top of your roofing or your terrace, whatever it is, where you have a beautiful vantage point where you can look at everyone and everything. You could even add a ladder that goes all the way on top of your tower, so you can stand on top of your tower and then you even have a better point of view. If you stand all the way up here, look at that. You can see everything and everyone can see you. So beside all of that, there's not too much going on. There's a small little well here, there's some greenery which is also a little bit rotten because of all the heat. The plants don't really do that well here. And some more greeny here. And again, looking at this bad boy at night, you notice that this one is probably the most lit up of them all. Except there's still like a couple of dark spaces here, certainly on the back because there's no windows, but overall it's pretty lit up. It's still not the lightest building of them all, but it does the job. Just in general, all of these buildings are rather dark, but the small windows give enough light to make it visible at night, and also adds a little bit more to the charm, in my opinion. It makes it a lot more cozy to look at, and also a lot more cozy in its environment, which is the desert. And there you have it. Those are 4 of my beginner starting houses for a desert. If you like this one, please leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.